Grace, Diamond Dogs, Book 2, Chapter 5. Written by Ann Malley, narrated by Ann Malley, copyright 2022. I say what I think will make people feel their best, Jay answered. He would feel better plucking the remaining junk out of Gracie's lush blonde hair, but a kick in the pants would likely result. Gracie turned to face him. People at ease is stock in trade for an operative, he said, taking in her anxious eyes. So is surveillance. Check out the guy by the pharmacy discount sign out front. He was there last night, too. At the Nobu? On the strip outside the Flamingo, she said. A muscled guy with a flat top and a skull and snake tattoo. Tell me. Jay touched Gracie's face for the benefit of their audience. She startled and said, He knew that I was meeting someone. Did he say that? Yes and no. The guy was dressed like a Chippendale. You know, the dancers. He was selling selfies to tourists. But he picked you out. Jay understood why he would do that on many levels, but not this one. The guy could have been razzing me. His words were too on target, though, and his timing. Fitz said she'd run video of him for proper channels. Okay, I've got it, Jay said. Not that he heard anything about a Chippendale dancer at Tig's meeting. Jay scanned the traffic stop, the parking lot, and the hint of an alley through the plate glass, then said, Whoever it was must have left. Someone was there, I swear. Gracie spun to confirm. I'm not saying you didn't see something, Gracie, but are you sure it was the same guy from last night? Military cuts are not uncommon. Someone may have recognized you and is curious about your new love of dust. The Decatur tattoo parlor may be pushing that skull design. Gracie couldn't know everyone in the neighborhood. Last night's black leather and pleaser heels may have netted her an admirer. A ton of them. Gracie was a beautiful woman, guaranteed to garner attention. Today's rumpled appearance only added to her appeal. It's the same guy, I'm telling you, and I wore that ratty wig. There's no way that dancer could recognize me unless... Gracie wrapped fingers around Jay's. Let's get out of here. Anywhere. Change first. The bathroom is that way. Jay would keep a lookout. If someone is watching, we'll have a better time shaking them if you lose that outfit. He hoped Gracie could lose the anxiety, too. Jay needed her calm so he could think straight himself. Whether Gracie had picked up a tail was debatable, but it wasn't unthinkable considering that drone incident. She needed a bodyguard, a friend. I am not holding up in some convenient pen to get shot, she said. I have you covered. Jay motioned toward the bulge beneath his coat. Go ahead. This is nothing compared to last night. Have faith. He brushed the crucifix resting against her collarbone, and she nodded. The furrow between her brows ebbed away. I'm trying, she said. Jay ripped the tags off the skirt and a tee. Do you mind if she changes now? Jay asked as the cashier returned with the shoes she had to pull from the storeroom. He handed Gracie the clothes, then added sun hats and dark glasses to the pile on the counter. The woman shrugged. Whatever works. Gracie took the shoes with a light smile and disappeared while he paid in cash. Jay exchanged his blazer for the oversized Hawaiian shirt, feeling better for Gracie's attempt at trust. This wasn't easy for her. None of it was. The cashier engaged him in small talk, and normal felt great. The lack of judgment felt great. 5 hours later, Gracie's nerves still plucked a queasy tune. Hands pressed between her knees, she gawked out the window of the private Gulfstream G550, powering her and the snoring lump across the aisle to safety. Jay's injured leg twitched a few times, but he was likely dreaming. Sleep eluded her. Exhaustion, doubt took center stage. They heckled her like some obnoxious comedy club drunk. Was Gracie safe? There a solid job on the other end of this helter-skelter? Jay may be involved at a deeper level than being a handy champion. Who knew? That Chippendale dancer had been at the dollar store, but Jay, who'd slapped a hat on her hasty updo before they had left, saw nothing. How many times had that translated into Jay not believing her? We'll see might as well be a pat on the head. I say what I think will make people feel their best were his words, not hers. The Chippendale could be working with Jay for all Gracie knew. She screwed her mouth shut to keep hot words inside. She wasn't a kid anymore. Jay had his faults, but he wasn't the boogeyman. He took her sighting seriously. He did. She had to believe that. There was no reason for her to doubt it. She prayed there wasn't a reason, but wanting to believe Jay believed in her, that he saw her as an equal and doing it were not the same thing. Jay's record of patronizing ran deep, spoiling the benefit of doubt that Gracie wanted to give. She'd do it, though. She would go the extra mile and be civil and accommodating. Danny may hate her for it, but Logan and Emma needed someone to put them first.
Gracie grabbed the last slice of their quick-turn pizza.
Surrounded by sleek leather couches and tables equipped with computer plugins, she still hadn't found her element. A scaled-down version of the penthouse's jumbo flat screen filled one side of the aisle. Mounted on the cockpit wall, it dominated the space. Smaller screens hung on the other side. Blank now, they could provide up-to-the-minute surveillance, locked into a satellite. That was a guess, but she'd take that bet. For all she knew, cameras were trained her way right now. Nerves would always remain until she had answers. At least whatever agencies Jay knew seemed to be treating him well. The flash and dash of Las Vegas's Atlantic Aviation, a private facility, intrigued her. And why shouldn't it? Gracie lifted her chin. This could be her world. She had the credentials. Anyone worth their security clearance lusted after three-letter agency jobs. FBI, CIA, DIA, ONI. Jay had neglected to say which expense account paid for his private ride. You need to trust me, Gracie. You're not dialed into the program, Jay had said. Yet here she was, a mile high, her future being fine-tuned by Jay Sykes. How sass backwards was that? He shifted beneath the royal blue wool, clutched beneath his chin. Wake up. She needed something besides imagination to battle. Are we there? Jay said, smacking his lips. Where is there? Gracie frowned.
I get that we're headed to D.C., but where exactly does this contact of yours want to meet?
She imagined a sleek steel and glass tower winking off D.C.'s main highway system. The old Beltway sniper case associated with the congested exchange gave her the willies. Gracie wasn't keen on meeting a senior statesman either. Politicos weren't her favorite ever since they had abandoned her to clean up her military record by herself. Gangplank Marina. Jay shoved the blanket off his chest. Seriously? They were meeting on a boat? I am being serious. The corners of his mouth perked up, and he looked past her. And here I believed expensive man toys equaled party time. Unaffected and professional.
Gracie meditated on her resolution to stay calm and peaceful, then reached for the water jug, but that's as far as she would go. Jay grinned at her hesitation. He shifted to a sitting position to pour for himself. Dex wants to debrief us, he said, privately. Gracie's mind snagged on the name. Dex, as in Dexter P. Driscoll? The same. Jay hit her with a steely-eyed mission accomplished. Gracie craned her neck against knifing fury while Jay drank deep. Dexter P. Driscoll was the former head of the Armed Forces Oversight Appeals Committee. That did not set well with Gracie. And for whatever reason, Jay knew to keep the name under wraps before takeoff. He and Fitz were cut from the same bolt of agenda cloth, but Gracie had sworn not to react. She had resolved to maintain the upper hand at all costs, and to maintain a professional demeanor. With her prayer life flagging, she should have expected another encounter with her diseased past. The intelligence community was knit tighter than the mess at the bottom of her craft bag. But a boat? Really? Why can't we meet at his office, she asked. This face-to-face won't be official, Jay said. Not yet. Jay sobered as her cheeks flamed. There's more to yesterday than Rana Capital running a real estate scam. I gathered that, Gracie answered. But what? Thoughts of Logan and Emma kept Gracie in check despite the desire to pop something. Her niece and nephew needed her help. You haven't told me anything significant, she said to Jay. Don't worry, I'm not Fitz. Gracie withheld her assessment of what Jay was. He continued in a sleepy tone. There's more going on than expected, that's all. Even I don't know the details. So, what were you expecting last night? Not her, but something serious enough to have Jay armed. I was a high roller at a high rolling party, a simple scam. I was watching someone. Kim? She asked. Ansar Kadarov, an Uzbek hedge fund manager with a mind to pledge money he doesn't have. So Rana is casting a broad net. I told Fitz as much. That's probably why she had me removed from the assignment. She likely already knew, Jay said. You still haven't answered my question. I stared him straight in the face. I have a right to know why you turned up when you did. Gracie pursed her lips, intent on answer. Did you make a wrong turn on your way to Cleopatra's barge and decide to track cattle off and collect forgotten tips? Cute. That's what you're being, Jay, but this is my life, my career. Tig invited you to the FBI roundtable. Gracie had let Jay into her apartment precisely to find out what had happened at that meeting before everything exploded. Now come on, Jay. Tell me what you were going to tell me last night. Why were you there? I owed someone a favor. Gracie sat back. A woman? Someone you're interested in, maybe? I'm not the opponent you think I am. Jay finished his water.
His Adam's apple ran the length of his stubbly neck. Although I enjoy the reputation now and again, he said, catching Gracie watching. Your reputation isn't the issue, and your likes and dislikes are your own, she said. You've always felt that way, I remember. She touched her necklace and withheld a sarcastic laugh. Whatever issues you're grappling are your own, Sykes. There's no need to read more into a simple debrief. The facts are that I was hired by an anonymous benefactor to help Clive Harrison. I informed the FBI of Harrison's sketchy connections. Harrison was likely coerced to introduce me to the associates who killed him and kidnapped me. Meanwhile, our Belgian friend had a mind to grill me and fleece Ansar Katarov, a person of interest to whomever you're interested in. My issues, Jay said. He always was a dog with a bone. Nobody is an island, Jay, and it pays to know one's landscape. I may be Danny's little sister, but I am professionally trained and field seasoned. Jay's sudden swallow told her that she scored points. I never bought into the narcissistic profile others pushed about you, she said, but I may have to reconsider. Others being Danny? Jay scooted up in his seat. Leave my brother out of this. Jay leaned forward. I noticed you left out convenient details of yesterday and today when you called your brother on the phone I provided. I should have guessed you weren't sleeping, she grumbled. Yes, you should have, but I was being seasoned before you left school, so it's okay if you fail to catch certain things. He stretched his neck and turned lazy eyes toward a window. I'll take up the slack, don't worry. Gracie clenched fists and willed many blessings to fall on Jay Sykes' fat head. What I tell my brother is my business, family business, big or small. But you wouldn't understand that since you don't have a family, not really. Her words were cold and she owned them. Jay had never been close to his family. He'd never seemed inclined to make one of his own either. Far from it. Meanwhile, Danny, despite life-altering disfigurement, carried on. He tried to. Are we clear? She demanded. Perfectly. Although I wish you'd say something about your client, Jay said. Or he's hypocrite on your current resume. He stuck her with a look that would have blown her socks off 10 years ago. With a discreet gulp, Gracie composed herself. You know I can't say. She felt for her watch but found it missing. You can't admit that you're being a hypocrite? He chuckled. Look, you admitted initially that you were doing a favor for a friend. A friend, not a client. Clients deserve a certain assurance of privacy. And friends don't? Even old friends? Gracie licked her dry lips. Relax, Gracie. Your client is your business. Keep your secrets and play whatever cards you think you need to. You will anyway. The smile in his eyes laughed for him this time, and Gracie was anything but amused. Then don't press me, Jay. I shouldn't, he said, leaning toward her. Betraying a trust isn't like you, but Clive Harrison was your client too, and yet you shared everything from what I heard this afternoon. She waited out the instinct to curse and said, It was a matter of national security, and Clive's murder was not my fault. As for you, whoever you're working for will get information or not as I see fit. Not betraying myself is top of the list right now. You've changed. About time, don't you think, she said. Gracie whipped the blanket off of him and pulled it up under her own chin. A limousine pulled up on the tarmac. Hours later, Jay wished there were two cars. The last leg of the flight passed in silence of dirty looks. So much for healing bonds. With no more pizza to throw Gracie's way, Jay had been hard-pressed to ease the bunching muscles, cinching him like a straitjacket never could. Who was Gracie's client? Why did Rana Capital press their luck by an open assassination attempt? And why was Gracie so bent on proving she changed? Whatever she was alluding to about Jay having issues, she still could cut him. Straight to the heart. She honed that skill long before reaching those tricky teen years. Jailbait wasn't a term that she liked. It had been the truth. Gracie had been a stunner, precocious, headstrong, and unstoppable. She still was. If only her inclinations had led her to land some happy bachelor and make his life, instead of risking hers, to rumble with evil forces. Monsters who would enjoy stringing Gracie up by that delicately inked ankle. There were sadists out there who would gut her upside down with relish and send her back to Danny one slice at a time. Tension curled Jay's lips and twanged his fingers. He needed the name of her anonymous someone, and if holding out about Katya kept Gracie on the hook, so be it. Eager to put distance between them, Jay took the stairs as if he hadn't touched land in 10 years. Chauvinism had nothing to do with it. Gracie could do anything she wanted. The Constitution guaranteed her that right, but rushing towards death to prove some idiotic point was no way to live. A quick glance granted him a full view of her anticipated triumph. Gracie thanked the flight crew. Her broad smile hinted at the lighter side that she buried. Make that her hard side, not above currying favor as need, or scoring invisible points in her battle with Jay. Cicadas or grasshoppers or whatever bug chirped the house down from hidden places. Gracie's laughter joined the chorus. Jay's stomach soured. The muggy air didn't help. Tenting his shirt did nothing to alleviate what bugged him either. Gracie made quick work of the stairs to catch up, and so be it. If beating her head against the system was her chosen mode, Jay could not protect her. That may be his number one issue. Powerlessness wasn't flying off the shelves in anyone's universe, but Gracie enjoyed force-feeding him nothing but. This better be good, she said with none of the joy she shared with the flight crew. Jay looked to the stocky driver approaching them. Gangplank Marina. Change in plans, the driver grunted. Already? Gracie killed Jay with a smirk. You sure this Mr. Driscoll is reliable? He's a brick. Jay snapped up the phone the driver offered him and dialed. Jay was struck again by Gracie's shift into tough chick mode. She didn't need tight leather pants. The floral tee and shapeless skirt sizzled with her in them. He choked down a hot wad of worry that had nothing to do with how the driver checked her out. Gracie was right. Jay had issues. Dex answered at the first ring, saying Gangplank is too risky before Jay could speak. Plain Jane is still there, right? Jay's catamaran cruiser wasn't an heirloom, but his floating home meant everything to him. Plain Jane was the only woman in his life, unsullied, always there, and silent as the Potomac. He wished that he'd never left. He could still see his friend Roham's family yacht blowing up in the night sky of last summer. Roham christened a replacement, but Jay had no plans to do the same. He reached the bridge of his nose and turned away from Gracie. Well, he asked Dex. Your little lady is untouched, but we'll talk in person. It's better, Dex said. I've rented a space at Steffen's store. 460 Noakes Road, number 1260. Flannel will get you in the gate. Fine. Jay caught the way the breeze picked up, making crazy with Gracie's skirts. See you in 10 minutes. Jay knew the area, and he was grateful as everything else required study. He cleared his throat, then handed the phone back to the driver, studying Gracie's Phoenix. She slid inside the rear of the limo, taking her cue from the driver's overly gracious entree. Jay caught himself before speaking, although he savored the taste of an unspoken tease. Gracie filled the void with another smile. It was sly and ripe with attitude. She had changed, and not for the good. With an update to the driver, Jay climbed in the back seat and they were off. You're going to need a place to stay, Jay spoke as they sped down the darkened roadway. Plain Jane? He ground his palms into his thighs. No. Where then? Gracie stretched her legs and clenched fists behind her neck. There was nothing sensual about her pose, but the driver's eyes filling the rearview mirror didn't give Jay a warm fuzzy. He'd never taken to men noticing Gracie. At the press of a button, privacy glass made its slow ascent between the front and back seats. Stay wherever you'd like. Dex will likely have arrangements made, Jay said, when Gracie glanced his way, or rather at his fingers lingering on the button. I want to prep you for whatever Dex offers. Negotiations are when to push for perks and the best salary. I get it. Gracie rubbed her shoulders. I need to make Driscoll understand I don't come cheap. You never did. Please. Gracie thrust fingers through her hair. I know my value in this negotiation. My connection alone will get Dexter Driscoll's attention. It already has, I'm betting. You're not going to tell me who hired you, eh? You know my position. Jay sat back. So did Fitz. No doubt, Gracie agreed. That's likely why she ruffled like a clucking hen whenever I'd show up downtown. Her objections seemed more personal to me, Jay lied, although some people considered their career more meaningful than a spouse. The woman is angling to keep me out everything. Jealous? Jay floated the idea with a lift of brows. Gracie may be catching more than professional attention. Something more than a friendly competition, maybe? Gracie rounded on him. If that's your way of finding out if I have a significant other, forget it. You're right. Your private life is your own, Jay said. I feel the same about mine. Gracie was seeing someone. The guy was a sorry excuse for a boyfriend. But we have to look at today from all angles, he said. Fitz was brutal at the round table. So, Tig giving me the boot wasn't enough? Not if today was any measure, Jay said. That's why I wondered if Fitz had personal reasons for feeling the way she does. Gracie pursed glossed lips, the fresh veneer her only tell at nervousness. She must have applied the fruity-smelling stuff 5 times since she'd gone silent on the plane. I don't know what Fitz's thing is, honestly. Me neither, although she mentioned the Iraqi Village Stability Program. That was a low blow and unnecessary by Jay's way of thinking, but Gracie's involvement in an operation gone badly was part of the official record. Jay's mission wasn't, except for the truthful testimony that he'd given at the time, the same testimony that got Gracie bumped stateside. She'd hold that high crime against him, despite the horrors he had spared her. Gracie was too good to suspect the rank politicking that ran the military machine she had idealized. Jay preferred it that way. To her credit, Gracie showed no sign of outward distress now. She gave him the back of her head until the limo slowed. The lockbox entry to the stuff in store came into view. We're meeting out here? She asked. We're meeting. Jay leaned forward. The code he'd repeated to the driver was seamlessly punched in. The gate rattled open.